Good afternoon. Happy Wednesday. How did it get to Wednesday already? It's been absolutely crazy. Oh my gosh, I forgot to take my watch off. I need to do that because I don't want this going buzz, 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 buzz. Don't you hate smart things? It's like they're smarter than we are, so it's like just put it away. So now I'm just with you, focusing, no distractions. I do have my phone here because that's to remind you, if you're watching on your phone, if you turn it sideways, you can get a larger picture. If the comments are in your way, swipe it, and it puts it in silent mode so that you can just see the video and hear me, the most important part. But if you want the comments back to see what your tulip bunch is doing, swipe it the other direction, and you can see everything. Yeah, kind of cool. I know, technology. Really? If you're on your computer, you can go full screen. If you're on your TV, I'm already larger than life. Oh my gosh. But you know the drill. Yeah. All these things. Of course, I need my coffee. And I iced it again. Should we hear? Yep. You can hear the ice cubes. But clink, 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 clink. So, for those of you that are going, whoa, what's that weird noise? It's Leanne and her iced coffee, because she gets to drink coffee on Wednesday at Live. So how are you doing? We're all doing great. School's in session. You may hear them. They're being quiet at the moment. I don't hear them currently, but you may hear them, because on the other side of the wall, Teacher Annie has a full class. Oh my gosh, they are amazing. We have people from all over the United States. It's been just such grand fun. I'm like, oh! But yeah, you might hear them giggling and laughing because they're having flower school. And on this side of the wall, we've got Teacher Michelle, who will be watching your comments and verbalizing and telling me what you're saying. So type away, make her work. You know, she just sits there going over and eating bonbons, like, yeah, whatever. Probably has a glass of wine for all I know. But she's like, yeah, but make her work. So type in lots of things that she has to look at. Then on this side of me, we have Jules, who is our creative that keeps us live and makes sure things are going. Jules, what's going on? I saw your hand go up there.
Debbie already noticed your color wheel earrings.
Oh, I know. Look at this, because we're talking color. Am I stylish or what? I mean, this is for you. I had to change because I had a bigger necklace on earlier. Is it here? Oh, it's over here. There it is. Off camera. I know you're not supposed to do that. But I had the bigger necklace on, but the earrings kept hitting it and making noise. It was just like, oh, this isn't going to work. So I switched to the little necklace because I have to have color wheel because we're talking color today. How cool is that? So Joel's to keep us live. Michelle will be answering your questions and telling me what I need to say. Annie's on the other side of the wall. And then in our virtual world, we have you. So introduce yourself so that we can know you're here. Say, hi, I'm Leanne. I'm from Portland, Oregon. Who are you? Where are you from? If you are a tulip, go ahead and put your icon in there so that we know. And start the collaboration. Get to know each other. Then virtually assisting us, we've got Caledonia. She's over on Facebook. Hi, Callie. Glad you're here. Susie's over on YouTube. Yay, Susie. You keep us social. Then Teacher Dove. Teacher Michael, I think Teacher Anna might be out there somewhere, and David is out there. So we've got all of us online with you, and now we just need to know who in the heck are you and where you're from. Michelle, what you got there?
Well, first off, we have a lot of tulips in today. Sherry, Kathy, Jim, Debbie, of course Dove's with us, and David, Scott, Denise, and Harmony all popped in over on Facebook. And then on YouTube, we've got Heidi and Cynthia and Christy and Roxy, and then a couple more Rose is with us down in California. And then Jim
Okay, what's your question?
He wants to know, does your footwear / boots, because he knows you, color coordinate with your earrings?
They do, and you know what, I screwed up. Okay, hang on, I'm off camera for a moment, but we'll get there. So Leanne is going off camera. I meant to do this and I forgot, but oh my gosh, you know, life is hard. If I had a crew that took care of me, but no, I have to do it all myself. So, okay, if we can get this, can we get this on camera? So I have, okay, where is the close-up camera?
Here we
But
go.
don't let me fall
Yeah,
over.
Hold on, let's do this.
Oh my God. So yes, I have color coordinated footwear. They have daffodils on one side because it's my flower. And we have, oh, daffodils over here and the rainbow. These were cool shoes given to me by my oldest daughter. And I'm like, yay. And I'm not going to tip over. So can I get down now? Okay, that's been enough. Okay. Whoa, that was complicated. Oh my goodness. Okay, it's just too much excitement in the room tonight. Oh dear. But yes, Jim, my shoes do match my earrings because I am a full service florist and I cover all things from head to toe. Yeah, there we go. So, and David's sitting there squirming. It's like, Leanne, do not climb on a ladder. And Michelle's like, oh, I'm going to spot you. Yeah. But you know what? No harm, no foul. So, back to flowers. How are you all? Anything else that we can do? I can put my foot up here. We can do a little modern dance thing, whatever. Or we start talking about flowers. So I talked about everybody that's here: Susie, Caledonia, Dove, Michael, David, Jules, Shell, Annie on the other side, Anna. I know, isn't it amazing? We have so many amazing people here, and we're all here for you. So did you introduce yourself yet? Okay, come on, it's your turn. I've done all my thing. I even stood on a ladder just for you. So, who's here? Get it in there. First question, because we're talking color. Yeah. We're going to be dealing with the color wheel. What is your favorite color? So, two questions. One, what is your favorite color? Bonus points if you know Leanne's favorite color. Yeah. Do you know my favorite color? So, what's your favorite color? Bonus point for Leanne's favorite color. And today I'm going to start with simple. We're going to think monochromatic. If you went to basic floral design, in fact, yesterday, Teacher Anna taught color theory, and this class was going through it all. Monochromatic, mono, one, chroma, color. So monochromatic is one color, can be tints, tones, and shades of that color. So light, dark, medium, but it's all one hue. And we're talking brights, so I thought I'd start with purples and go with, okay, what's bright purple? And we've got some beautiful carnations. You can see these are actually left over from the class. They used those today. Actually, I think today was the day they were using these. And they were doing the novelty, which they used a white pumpkin that was just incredible, getting ready for the autumn season. It was a white ceramic pumpkin with the lid and the whole thing, and we had that whole story. And then we did it with the purple carnations. And I thought, well, what are we going to put with that? Maybe some gentian. Gentian. Gentian is a beautiful flower. Let's try that, see if we can get that into there. Gentian is,
Hold steady.
it almost to me looks like African violet on a stick. And my grandmother and grandfather grew gentian in their garden. That was the first time it was ever exposed to me. And they're incredibly long lasting, super long lasting. So if I put them together, now some people would say this is analogous because we're going to blue lavender to red lavender, but we're going to call it monochromatic. So bear with me on this one. You know, we're just going to go there. And maybe a bit of status, that would be good. And what else do I want to put in here? We'll see. And I'm going to do it in this vase. It's very organic looking. You can see it has this sort of movement to it. It's one of my favorites. Mechanics, it's water. Water and flower food. There's nothing else in here. So when you go, oh, is there foam? Is there netting? No, it's water and it's flower food. And then I'm going to do a little bit of a nest with some foliage, because that's going to be what supports my flowers, just a little bit. So, have you put in there what your favorite color is? Has anybody figured out what my favorite color is? I mean, if you don't know, obviously you have not been watching us long enough. Because how many zillion times have I told you my favorite flower, daffodil, my favorite color, not yellow, so don't even go there. That's not my favorite
A
color.
lot of people guess yellow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
Yellow, orange, there's a purple.
Yeah.
A lot
I'd
of
say-
people- I have not seen the actual one yet.
Oh, interesting. Oh my gosh. So no, although daffodil is my favorite flower, yellow isn't my favorite color. Yellow is David's color. We always call him Mr. Daffodil. But yeah, he does yellow. I don't do yellow. It's not my thing. So wrong. No. So guess again. Come on in there. Come on, people. I thought everybody knew my color. I mean, if you come to the classroom,
Some people on YouTube guessed it.
oh, okay. Because if you come to the classroom, my locker is my favorite color. Every cupboard is my favorite color. Our smocks have my favorite color. I have shoes that are my favorite color. Are those enough clues? Okay, Teacher Michelle.
Well, the folks over on YouTube got it right off the bat. Overall color wins as to people's favorites. It's like a three-way tie between purple, pink, and green.
Oh, interesting. Purple, pink, and green.
Yep. And then Cynthia popped in first, then Christy, then Amelia, and then Melinda with red, red, red.
Cynthia knows because she's been in the classroom and she's like, oh yeah, I know, Leanne. So yeah, red is my color. You know, and it's interesting because color has both physiological and psychological responses as well as trends and such. And red is an edgy color that actually, okay, this might scare you, but it actually makes you hungry and makes you want to eat more. So you never want to make your kitchen red because then you're going to eat all the time. And ironically, I have a red wall in my kitchen because I love red. But red causes excitement, increases the appetite, and makes you eat more. Think about restaurants, Italian per se, where you just want to eat spaghetti forever. It's red. So yeah, be careful if you like red because you better start exercising a lot because you just keep eating because it's red. It's so wonderful. So I created a nest of foliage, which that's going to support my flowers. And then I'm going to start with some gentian in here. And it's funny because we just did the color lecture in basic floral design. I was like, oh my gosh, I should have just had the students come in for this. We could just do color here. But the reality is when you're in the classroom, we go so far more in depth. Online with our lives, we tease you. We go, oh, isn't this fun? How cool is that? But it's not teaching like we do in the classroom where we go into the full rest of the story. So that's why this is different. This is not going to be where they are because they're busy learning, making sure that they know the whole story, not just the fun part, like what color is Leanne's kitchen. So yeah, the rest of the story. So as I'm poking posies, is there anything exciting going on out there?
Dennis just logged in and said, hi everybody. He is on the road at the moment, so he'll catch us on the replay.
Ah, probably traveling home from work because it's been a busy day, I'm sure. Oh my gosh. Get that in there.
Martha just joined us from Whidbey Island up in Washington.
Hello there, Martha. Yay. So have you all put in who you are, where you're from? Started the collaboration? Because one of the greatest parts about these live streams is getting to know your peers and interacting and being part of the conversation. Now, yes, you can just lurk in the background and watch, and that's totally fine. But it's more fun if you start hanging out with your peoples. That's what we're here for. And it makes it more fun for all of us, I can promise you that. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this in there. So I have 2 gentian, 3 carnations, a little bit of debris, and maybe a bit of status to go ahead and bring, what I'm doing is pulling the darker purple down so that it pulls visually through the arrangement. Bring it over here. It gives me a stronger line from top to bottom. Find the perfect little hole here. There we go. I love status in how you see the purple, and it's beautiful and it's grand. Let's see, do I have another bit of it? Oh, maybe, no, there it is. Okay. Oh my gosh, there's one. Okay. So the purple is what we get excited about, but if you look really closely, there isn't a floret on the center that's white, and that's actually the flower part. And so as it blooms out, it goes from that deep purple and then it has white. We had a student who was a flower farmer. So many of our students are flower farmers now. It just kind of cracks me up because that's on trend now. In fact, in class, I think I have 3 flower farmers right now. But I had a student who was a flower farmer who did status, and she brought in some things from her farm, and it was fascinating to me the number of colors. So you might have peach status, but the bloom was yellow. Or you might have yellow status, but the bloom was purple. I didn't realize how many different varieties there are. Kind of fascinating when you think about it. So I dare you to check into it because it's quite amazing what is there and how many different varieties there are. And it's just a matter of getting it. Now commercially, no. Commercially, those aren't all there because it takes a micro farmer, the flower farmers in my class, takes those to really pull out the cool things and then to share it out with you. So check it out. You'll be surprised. Yes, Teacher Michelle.
So Debbie wondered, she said, I have questions about the gentian. How easy is it to get and how hardy is it?
It's very seasonal, so the question is gentian. When can you get it and how hardy? Gentian is a short window of availability, usually late summer. It's not a year-round product, so it's a late summer product. This is not local. This is international, I believe, maybe California, I don't know. But it's not local. I find that I usually get it August, September, October, most of it in September. Sturdiness, the stem is hugely stable, no issues whatsoever. And then as longevity, a very long-lived flower. It's not short-lived at all. It continues to bloom out. Let's see if I can force this one. Yeah. It continues to bloom out, getting fuller like this. But I tend to just leave it alone and let it do it on its own. Whereas some flowers I manually open, this one I don't. It seems to do it by itself. So short window of availability, late summer. Sturdiness, fabulous. When my grandparents grew it, I normally saw it in this Portland, Oregon type area in August. That's when it was growing there. And I always thought of it as, I'll repeat that, African violet on a stick. Because it is like this little African violet thing on the top with this long stem. And so I find them to be really quite wonderful. Yeah.
So, Leanne.
Yes.
Lori said, I am knee-deep in Hoko, homecoming, and laid down to take a nap and went, oh my gosh, it's Wednesday, so here I am.
I know. So many of you are in the middle of Hoko. When did Hoko become a term? I just find that so interesting. Homecoming is now Hoko, and Michelle did a live stream about homecoming a little bit ago, so you can go back and watch that. It's on the playlist. So Caledonia and Susie, if you'd put Michelle's playlist in there, because I know that the homecoming video is there and she has so many of them from past years that it's a great educational resource. And Hoko is happening. Oh my goodness, it's like everywhere. So this rose, do we know what it is? I don't know.
It's Moody Blues.
Moody Blues. Look how well that's opening. I'll try to bring it up to the camera. There we go.
Nice.
But the Moody Blues opens beautifully.
Pretty color.
And yeah, and it's got that variegation from the deep to the lighter. So it kind of fills in a stunning manner. Let me set that in here. So I'm still sticking in monochromatic, but filling it out. You can take them, and I had the class ask me, well, do you spin your roses? And I did, and look what happens. Sometimes you spin them, and they just go all over. Let's see if I can make it go again. So yeah, it's like, sometimes you shouldn't spin them, because not all flowers spin beautifully. Yeah, so anyway, we did that in class yesterday, I think it was. I just had to giggle because like, oh yeah, well, that worked well, didn't it? How's that working for you? But I find when I'm opening things, I do better by kind of putting my finger in and manipulating and then blowing as opposed to spinning. And I spin too, we all do that, but sometimes some varieties, they don't spin as well as others because instead of spinning, they fall apart, as you saw there. And that's not necessarily what you want to have happen, so yeah.
Scott wants to know what happened to all the limonium that was in the classroom. He saw buckets of it when you posted photos the other day.
I actually had, I couldn't decide. Okay, so this is not good for the budget, don't tell my boss, but I was like, oh, do I want misty blue or do I want this beautiful pink? And I couldn't decide. So I bought both, which is not what you're supposed to do, but I did. So the first day of class, we used the misty blue because it worked well with the deeper purples and dark reds. We were doing kind of a moody palette, and that gray tone really enhanced. So that was what that was. And then today, they're doing things with a little bit brighter palette. So I gave them that pinker limonium today. So it's not wasted, it's getting used. But yeah, that was a bucket of limonium, wasn't it? It was like, oh my gosh, that was a lot of limonium. And when you buy twice as much as you're supposed to, sometimes it's not right for the budget, but it was correct for what we were doing. So, okay, bright colors, bringing out intensity of hues, but sticking monochromatic. So this one is all purple, tints, tones, and shades. What happens if we go to complementary on a color harmony? Let's look at that one and just sort of see where that goes. Oh, before I do that, let's do this. Okay. So I put it in white. White is not a color. It doesn't count. Okay, look closely, pay attention. Okay. Let's take it out. Put it in black, which is also not a color. Notice how much difference it looks. Because when you design, when you pick your color palette, how you accessorize it, be it black, white, gray, or I could have done purple, changes the design drastically. And it looks like a totally different arrangement when I move it into the black. If I move it back into the white, where there's water, which would be a good thing, changes it out again. So that's something you can do in your world, is think about how you accent things with non-colors. Black, white, and gray changes your whole design out. Imagine that.
So Lisa had a question about those Moody Blues roses. How well do they hold up?
They hold up great. They're a very long laster. They open fully, reflexing out into a beautiful cup. And if you don't spin them, their petals stay on. And they'll last, I would say, 5 to 8 days, 5 to 7 days. They're a good long laster. We'll be using them in the class. They're going to use them when they do their compote, when we deal with the floral netting, which right here, floral netting, because we try to do all your mechanics, floral netting, foam, foam-free, all of those. So when they do the compote, they'll be doing floral netting, and they're going to be using that rose, and they'll be taking it home, and my guess is it will give them a good 5 days, even after designing in the classroom, and hold up well. So yeah, they're a good long laster. Just be careful with the spin, watch that. Okay. So I'm going to do one now with a complementary harmony, and instead of black or white, I'm going to gray, still a non-color, but it changes the dynamics. And you may have seen this, we did it in one of our Monday videos with the specimen design with so many different colors. It's just one of my favorite vessels. It kind of gives you that concrete look. It's not waterproof, so I have a liner inside, and then I did the floral netting, fresh water mixed with flower food, and then we'll stick stuff in here. That sounds very sophisticated. Stick stuff in here. Oh my gosh. Whatever. What else is going on out there? I gotta drink some coffee, so you guys gotta talk a little bit, because I need to drink.
Well, there you go.
There we go. I need this.
Roxy was wondering if Moody Blues was a garden rose or just a standard, and it's a standard, but it is a monster when you fluff it like you did.
Yeah, it is not a garden rose. It truly is just a standard rose, but it has that really large head with high petal count, and so it does fluff it out quite large. It is wonderful, and it's reliable. You know, we all need those workhorses of roses, and it's a workhorse. A little bit of Salal, giving myself a base, and then, oh, let's do some of this just because it's beautiful. This is Belladonna. The class was using this today, and I stole some of it from them because I can. And just a bit in here, find a little spot there. We'll put another one in to hold that in place. There we go.
Roxy says that they have a gentian that is native in her area of Michigan, and it looks exactly like what you had in that other arrangement.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, gentian is just such a beautiful bloom, and I'm surprised it's not more commercially available because it is so sturdy, and maybe it's because it has that shorter season that it doesn't work well as a commercial grown bloom, but it's definitely one of my favorites, definitely. So Belladonna coming up through the center. The class used it as they were working with their baskets, and so they had this and bachelor buttons. I don't remember what else, but anyway, so I'll stick some bachelor buttons in here just because I have them. And we'll go there. Bachelor buttons can be tricky, and so I find taking the time to add a wire is generally a good idea. And so what I do is just feed the wire through the center and down through the stem. But you don't need to go very far. Just down through the neck. Then give it a cut. Force it down so that it's not going to show. And repeat with the next bloom. So you're just feeding it through the center. You have to feel where it is going through the stem so that it stays inside the stem. And then giving it a cut. There you go. And it gives you nice support so that you don't get that bent neck. There was a post on Facebook as to how do you keep ranunculus from bending and doing? Same technique. If you go to our Tulip Tuesday and do strengthening ranunculus, you'll find that so that it tells you it's just like stick a wire in there and it's amazing what you can do. Now this one is so strong, probably doesn't need a wire. It's probably totally fine all by itself. And then I have a bud here. It's interesting, bachelor buttons continue to open even after they're severed from the root. So with this, I would definitely just give it a cut and put it back in the vessel and wait to let it open because it will. Same with this one. Now this little bud, probably not. This one's probably too tight. It's not going to go anywhere, but this one very well might. So I just clean it up, give it a cut, and then put it in water so that it's ready to go. And it will be good. So going complementary, you think about your color wheel, blues and violets to yellow. Okay, so I'm just going directly across here to the yellow side and tucking in a chrysanthemum. And you may remember this. I think Teacher Annie used it on her live. This is one of her leftovers because we save everything. You stick it in the cooler and it'll still be good. Trust me. And then stick it in. And look how the vibrancy goes. All of a sudden, that monochromatic, which was kind of casual, meek, receding, just there, was pretty, but it was not aggressive. All of a sudden, you add the complement, which is the direct opposite on the color wheel, and it makes everything go bing, and all of a sudden it's so much bouncier, even though it's one flower. Yeah, doesn't take much. Michelle, what you got?
So talking about the ranunculus, Leah wanted to know when to wire it, right away when she buys it or when she's ready to arrange it.
Good question. Do you do it at the point of purchasing and processing, or do you do it at the point of designing? And that's going to be a judgment call. Oftentimes, if they're relatively sturdy, I process them, put them in the cooler, and leave them alone. And then when I go to design, I add a wire to it. But if it's a little bit questionable, I'll go ahead and wire it at the very beginning, because if you don't and it bends over, it breaks that vascular structure. And then even though you wire it to get it to stand up, it never drinks as well because it has caused that harm. So if you think they're going to be okay, you could just leave it be. If you have any sense of worry, or if you know you're going to wire them, go ahead and wire it. Do it at the beginning just to be safe, because if you let it bend, it's going to shorten its life. And then you've got a problem. So, excellent. Other question, what else do you want to know? Because, I'm here. I'm yours for 1 hour, but only about 23 more minutes, but whatever.
Tiffany said, thank you for the bachelor button trick. I have thrown so many away.
Bachelor buttons are really a bugger. They're one of my favorite flowers, but that's what you get. And it's like, dang. And you do your quick dip, you do all the things you're supposed to do, but sometimes their heads just are not able to be supported by that stem. And so all of a sudden, if you just take the time, and you got to be gentle. I mean, that it's tedious. You got to be gentle.
What size wire is it?
It's a 22 gauge wire. 18 would work, but for so many of the stems, it's too big. It doesn't do it. And a 26 just isn't quite strong enough. I didn't get it down far enough, and so it's still bending. Bad Leanne. Well, I'll hold it and pretend it's upright, but I'm faking it. I'll be honest, I'm faking it. But yeah, if you just get that stem down in there and it stands it up, and all is well. Yeah, but no, that one's not, because I didn't get it down far enough. Maybe we'll do one more and see here. Let's look at this one. Because see how that one is bent? And then if we just take the wire through the center, and then you have to feel where the stem is, keeping it inside the stem, because that's the challenge.
That's the hardest part right there.
It is, and it really is just feeling it. Your eyes can't fix it. It's strictly the feel of your hand.
And does it kill them quicker?
No. In fact, it makes them live longer because they can drink now. Because they're not going, oh, I'm dying. You're like, you can do this. So, yeah. I mean, and it's beautiful. So, yeah.
That's amazing.
Ranunculus, bachelor buttons, sometimes zinnias I'll do this with. Gerberas, I don't do that technique. The gerberas, I go from the outside, not down through the center. So it's a lot of just experimenting to see what's going to do well. So this one I added a yellow on the back side just so it was all the way around.
You want to do a little spin and we'll do the close-up?
Oh, okay, should I pull it back, forward? Oh, just leave it alone, don't touch. Okay, here we go, spinning. Oh,
That's so good.
this whole close-up thing is just too much for me.
Looks cute.
It is, it looks good.
Success. Okay. I'm gonna drink more coffee.
gotta teach you how to make the coffee maker soon.
Oh, yeah, we got to do that. So, yeah, we have a class in session, and we have an espresso machine, and then we have a second espresso machine that's better for Americanos, and then we have a coffee pot. But I don't know how to use the coffee pot. So I actually put it in the cupboard and hid it because I didn't know how to tell the students how to use it. And so I hid it. They don't know we have a coffee pot. And Jill's like, where's the coffee pot? I'm like, well, you got to show us how to use it. Because she grinds the beans, she puts it in, she makes it special. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so she's going to give us a lesson later today after live as to how to use the coffee pot. I know, it's crazy. Oh my gosh, it's out of control. So we did monochromatic, we did complementary. Now let's do bright colors, polychromatic. And this is for you guys. Define polychromatic. Let's see who's first. Go! And I will gather things.
Well, while everyone's typing in, Fernando on YouTube says, "Good night, everyone from Lisbon, Portugal."
Lucky.
Good night, Fernando in Lisbon, Portugal. I know. Thank you for
Love
joining us
Lisbon.
in the middle of the night. How cool is that? Oh my gosh.
And we have our first correct answer.
Okay, and
It's Scott on Facebook, and he said 5 or more colors.
excellent. So Scott on Facebook, yay, polychromatic, 5 or more colors. I picked this little black vessel. You're going to see this coming up. I can't remember. Maybe Jules will know when it's coming, but you'll see it coming up with a Halloween arrangement in it. And it was one of my most fun things to do. It was super crazy and silly,
Couple
but
weeks.
it's a couple weeks out. Okay, so you'll watch for this. You'll see it again, but for now we're going to do it with polychromatic. So I added floral netting. And I molded it so that there are multiple layers. When you come to flower school, we talk about that if you just do one layer, it doesn't work. 2 layers, it doesn't work well. You really need multiple layers, but you also can't have it so tight that you can't get your stems in. So you have to set the layers and then poke with your finger to get it divided correctly. And then if it's wedged in well, you don't need to tape. Then you just add fresh water, pre-mixed with flower food. Oh, need more fresh water, pre-mixed with flower food. Luckily I have 2, so we're good. And then you go in with your blooms. And for polychromatic, as Scott said, 5 or more colors. You think about your color wheel. And you pick a little bit of everything that you like. So I could do green with the miniature hydrangea. I could do orange with the gerbera. I could do hot pink with the celosia. I could go violet with the gentian. And I can add yellow with solid aster. So now I have 5 colors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Does green count? I count green when it is a flower. I don't count green when it is a foliage. If it's a foliage, I count it as a backdrop. Think about Mother Nature just giving you this little shell to showcase your flowers. But once it is a flower, like hydrangea, then I do count it as a color. I would also count the green trick dianthus. Even though that's green, I wouldn't count it as a foliage, so I would count it as a color. Look at what happens here between the hydrangea and the green trick, because the hydrangea fades out almost to white, and the green trick stays in the vivid green. One of the things when you're talking about color, and we were talking about bright hues today, when you're thinking about color and bright hues, you want to think about your tints, tones, and shades. And if you're using a tint, it's totally going to change the dynamic. If you switch it to the more pure intensity of a hue, it evolves so much. What did a leaf, I guess I just dropped there, so not a big deal. But it evolves greatly. So oftentimes when I'm talking about polychromatic, I either work with all tints, so the lighter hues, or all pure intensity, or all shades to the darker hues. Because when you mix and match, it sort of messes up what you're striving to do. Now, the more advanced color theory you go into, mixing it can be grand, but if you're struggling at first, think about tints, tones, and shades and divide it out. So if it's a tint, don't use it.
So Scott had an interesting comment. He said in the flower shop, they would always do a polychromatic, or as they called them, birthday arrangements at the end of the day when everyone had random things left over in their buckets.
You know, I think that's where polychromatic is the most valuable, is when you don't have enough of any one thing, but you put one of everything in, and it's fabulous. And that really does work well. The key is to think tints, tones, and shades. So you'll do a random tint bouquet, a random shade bouquet, yeah, and just kind of divide it out, and it works out incredibly well. Now, one thing that I find is when you're doing polychromatic, it works a little better if you have something that is your stabilizer or unifier, something that just pulls it all together. So one color that you use more of. So in this case, I might do more yellow, which it was funny, was it last week's live? Might have been last week's live, where they said the majority of their shrink was on yellow flowers. The other things sold better, but the yellow were left over. You know, and so I'm like, but I'm using yellow, sorry. But yeah, sometimes yellow is a scary color to people because it's so forward, in your face. There's nothing subtle about yellow. And so it's one that can be a little tricky. And so then people are afraid of it. But in this case, I'm going to use it as my unifier. So I'm giving myself a nest of yellow that then will support all the vibrant colors. So, while I poke flowers, what else is going on out there?
Well, two things. One, Dennis is giving us some dating advice. He said, backing up a little, I was taught a man's eyes are drawn to purple. Adding a touch of purple will attract men.
Interesting. I thought red. Hi, guys. But yeah, I thought red was supposed to attract. So purple, interesting. Well, Dennis, we'll have to do a study on this.
We will definitely have to do it. And
I may have to get a purple cup. I have a red cup. Oh my gosh.
And then we had a question when you were talking about the mechanics with the chicken wire or floral netting. Can you get just chicken wire from the hardware store, or should you use a true floral product?
You should use a true floral product, and that's one of the things. Okay, I'm going to get on my soapbox here. Okay, I'm standing on the soapbox. You see all these videos where people are using just chicken wire from the hardware store. It's silver, and they put it in a vessel, and it can be beautiful. It works. But then it rusts, and it kills your flowers. They don't show you that part. It's like one day later, it's a disaster. That's false information. It's wrong, it's horrible. It's the correct mechanic, it's the wrong application. You do need floral netting. It's got that coating on it. It's annealed, it's coated, it's galvanized, whatever, I don't know. It's annealed, I think is what it is. And it doesn't rust. And it doesn't hurt the vessel, it doesn't hurt the flowers, it saves everything. So, don't go to the hardware store and buy generic silver chicken wire. Wrong. You want green floral netting that has the coating that keeps it from rusting. So yeah, now I'm off my soapbox, but yeah, it's just something that it's wrong. And you know, there's so many people that are going to tell you all these wonderful things. Test it yourself. Even everything I tell you, test it. See if it works for you, and then call me on it. I'm okay with that, because we all learn more by being better together. But check it out. And when you see these things like, oh, it's way cheaper to do that. Yeah, it's cheaper because it doesn't work. So definitely do some research on it. And so yeah, floral netting is a beast all of its own that should be floral netting. So there is a difference. Yeah. Other questions?
Yes, Wanda has an extensive one. Which flowers can you wire, and what happens if the wire goes through the stems to the outside? Is the flower ruined?
And that is a tough one. Technically, every time you wire a flower, you are going to shorten its life, because you are introducing a contaminant and you are hurting it. So every single time you wire something, it's a negative. And sometimes it's a positive, because if you don't wire it, it's just going to die and be wrong. So you wire carefully. If you go in and it comes out the side and outside of the stem, you created a new wound, a new puncture point, negative. So it's one of those things you need to practice to keep that stem on the interior. So you have one puncture point at the top, or if you're going up from the bottom, one puncture point going up. But every time you go out the stem, that's an additional puncture point, and that's going to hurt the flower. So technically, you don't want to wire any flowers. Reality is, you need to wire flowers to get them to do what you want them to do. And yes, it will shorten their life. So then you have to do it in the best possible way, which is to keep it on that interior so that you're doing less damage to the stem. Yeah. Did I miss anything on that, Michelle? You know as much as I do on that.
Yeah. That's like asking about your favorite child.
Yeah.
It's a hard answer to give.
I know, because we know it's wrong. We know that anytime you put a wire in, you're causing damage, but we also know to accomplish what we want to do, sometimes you need to wire, or to keep the flower looking pretty. Sometimes you have to wire bachelor buttons, ranunculus, and so then it's picking the lesser of the evils and then doing it as well as you possibly can without damage. So tucking in the green trick to help break the line of the container. I'm kind of liking this one. I'm enjoying this. Like, oh my gosh. I guess I'm a polychromatic girl today. Oh, but I'm covering up the eyeballs. Let's get those back up there. There we go. So I just kind of adjusted slightly, and then bringing in some of the gentian so that comes in.
I'm kind of surprised we don't have any first timers with us today that have admitted to it, at least.
Well, and I didn't even ask if there were any first timers. Hey guys, are you a first timer? And I didn't even ask about that? Come on, tulips, if there's a first timer out there, greet them, but I don't know if we have any first timers. So yeah, stick it in there. Let us know. If you have not already shared this, that's what my request to you is. Take a moment and share this out on yours. So if you're on Facebook, just click that share button and spread the word. Let people know about Floral Design Institute. And then if you're on YouTube, if you could sneak up to the top and push that thumbs up button, it helps our algorithm. And you know what? I mean, you have a whole mess of us here. There's 11 of us generally that are on staff between teaching and live and all of that. And every time you help our algorithms, you keep us in business and you keep our paychecks coming. And we appreciate that, because if it weren't for you, we wouldn't be here. Yeah, it's all about you. And so if you have a moment, go ahead and click the thumbs up, do a share. You can tag a friend, just say, hey, Mary, did you see this? And I'll go, oh, yay, thank you, Shelley, for doing that. I really love that. Because we need you. We need you a lot. Because if it's not you, we don't get to do this. And we love doing it. We have fun doing it. And we're like, yay, it's Wednesday, it's live day. But you got to keep us moving. And you know what's really amazing? I have not heard the class giggle once. Have you guys heard the class today?
We haven't heard them.
Annie must have them with the fear of God. Like, you must be quiet today. Or they're outside eating bonbons or something. Who knows? But I have a feeling they're doing something.
Bonbons you keep mentioning.
You want bonbons. I know. We all like bonbons. So as I'm finishing this one, I'm going to put just a little bit of fountain grass, because color is one of those things that kind of makes your brain explode. Because once you start thinking about color, it just gets busier and busier and busier, and there's so many different things you can do with it. And so I thought, well, fountain grass brings in a little bit of explosion to the mind with color, and reminds you that if you don't open your mind and let it explode, life's kind of boring. And it's never boring here at Floral Design Institute, because we don't have time to be bored, because we're always letting our minds explode with color. Oh, except I broke that one. Oh, he was cute, but never mind. We'll grab a different one. And I thought just adding that little touch adds texture and takes the green from the green trick that I tucked really down low and pulls it out to the top, which is going to make Jules crazy as she tries to photograph this, because now she has all this little wispy stuff. She hates these. She's like, oh, please, Leanne, you didn't do that to me. And yeah, I did that to her. Anytime I put these little wispy things in, Jules and David both just look at me and like, okay, really? Did you have to do that? And I did. But isn't it prettier? So if you like this, give me lots of hearts and say, Jules, you can photo, you can do this, it's okay. David, just shut up, it's all right. We can have hairy, fuzzy things, but that's what we do. So we have monochromatic, tints, tones, and shades, all in that brighter palette of violet. Then we have complementary, violet to yellow, okay, and we used white, gray, black, non-colors, but they change the dynamics of things. Polychromatic, 5 or more colors, all using the color wheel to stay focused. So it's the same thing we taught in class yesterday in basic floral design, just kind of expanding upon it. So hopefully One of these days you can join us. Basic Floral Design online or in person. Come play. I'll have my earrings with me so we can do it together. And we'll all gather together in a colorful world and do something we love. See y'all next week. Bye for now.